Today, we're going to cover something that all of us possess to varying degrees, but as entrepreneurs, we've encountered it many times. It's a fear of rejection. And it stands in the way of so much success for entrepreneurs. Today's guest not only has faced tremendous rejections, he's gone out and sought it out, and he's turned it into opportunity. He went out and spent 100 days getting rejected. I know, why would anybody do this? Well, it's amazing what we'll do for research, and putting yourself out like that, huge, huge opportunity. Matter of fact, he's got over 7 million views on YouTube. I've got him here today because I had him present at my mastermind group to my top financial advisor clients. And I got to tell you, they were blown away. It was extremely useful, the insights that he has. So stay tuned. This is John Bowen. We're at aesnation.com, and you are in for a real treat on not only uncovering more of the fear of rejection, but how you can use it to your advantage.
Ordinary success? No way. You want amazing, remarkable, exceptional breakthroughs. Dig deep, think bold, drive hard, watch yourself soar beyond your dreams. aesnation.com.
Jia Jiang, just great getting together with you. I really appreciate it. I mean, as I mentioned, you blew them away at our mastermind group, our roundtable group of top financial advisors. And when I first saw your YouTube video, I gotta meet this guy. And you've done some pretty amazing things. So first of all, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, John.
Well, you know, and the reason why the YouTube, I think, video and your talk so resonate is so many of us are afraid of rejection. I mean, it stops us from accomplishing all that's important, you know, that we're here on this world to do. And I want to go deep into that, but I want to get your background, because I'm guessing as a actually, as I'm saying, I remember your story even, and it's a great story because you and I are in Silicon Valley today, but you didn't start as a Silicon Valley entrepreneur. You had a little bit more humble beginning, at least from this entrepreneur side, and maybe share your background of how you came to this.
Yeah, quickly, you know, I didn't grow up in this country. I grew up in China, and that's all I wanted was to be the next Bill Gates. You know, I didn't want to be the next Mao or Lenin. Bill Gates was my man. So I came to the States when I was 16, and that's, you know, actually I became an exchange student in rural Louisiana. It was very different from Silicon Valley, I can tell you that. But then when I was 30 years old, you know, I've been always wanted to do this entrepreneur. But the problem is I got a good job. You know, I got a really good job that was paying me well, paying my mortgage and everything. My wife's pregnant, so I thought, my goodness, you know, I'm getting paid to not follow my dream, basically. So I just had to quit. So when I was 30, just 4 days before my son was born, I just quit my job.
Well, let me just stop for a second, because I mean, one of the things we all do is we want to, you know, go ahead and chase our dreams. But I'm thinking, okay, you've got a very successful job,
yep,
and high tech and all that. You've got a great wife who you're just about ready to have your first child,
yep,
and you're seeing that maybe, you know, you're not going to get the opportunity to be an entrepreneur. You decide at that moment, with the blessing of your spouse, to go do this. And okay, that's a wow. So you're married well. Is she a great lady here?
I did. I always say I married up, and that's confirmed every day. You know, well, I have all these things that people think is, you know, American dream, right? Like being comfortable and stuff. But I also have one thing, which is regret, and it's getting deeper and deeper every day, because I only live this life once. I really believe that, you know, I'm on this earth for a purpose. You know, if I at least I didn't give myself a chance to pursue that dream. I don't mind to be rejected. At least I thought. I didn't mind to be rejected by the world, but I was really rejecting myself. because of this fear, because of this, comfort and just everything. So that's why I had to make that decision to step out.
So you decided to be an entrepreneur. Okay.
Yeah.
Most of us are accidental entrepreneurs that it just kind of were really good technicians, were good at something, and
Yeah.
we then build a business around it. You just decided to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
All right, take us a little further, because I'm thinking if you just raise your hand and you say, I'm now an entrepreneur, it doesn't happen. If it does, I want to know this.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, it doesn't happen. You can't just claim to the world that, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. What you do is, I know I had to focus, right? I have a business idea. There's a high-tech business idea. I want to build the next Twitter, or Google, whatever. I want to have this idea. I've been wanting to do this on the side, try it here and there, maybe hire someone to do some coding. Then I just found, I can't do it if I don't focus 100%. I just can't, and it just and I'm not sure that's for everyone, but for me, I have to spend 100% on my focus. So that's why I negotiated with my wife, and we found a solution where I would do this for 6 months, step out for 6 months, and to quit my job. And then in 6 months, I will see if I can build something here. If there's traction, if there's investment, that means this business has a future. Otherwise, it doesn't. Then I can look for a job again. I can always find a job, but as I get older and older, it's not like I have infinite time to start a company.
So what I love is what I find in our research, for entrepreneurs who are focused and take massive, deliberate action, things happen. So what happened here?
Yeah, so things happen. Rejection happened. That's what happened. So yeah, I quit my job and I started just building a team, building a prototype, finding customers, trying to talk to potential investors. So I had a 6 month of time. And the 4th month, I was presented with the investment opportunity and thought, okay, this is it. I worked so hard and someone liked my idea, and I'm gonna get an investment. Actually, in my mind, there was no way I wouldn't get it. Just when you somehow you believe in something, then you're like, this is destined to happen. And then it turned out it didn't happen, and there's sometimes this reality just hits you like that. The investor said no, and it happened. This type of thing should happen a lot in business, right? But then I found out, oh my gosh, I thought I was ready for rejection, but I wasn't. It hit me so hard to a point that, I started questioning myself, my idea, this whole thing about quitting your job and being an entrepreneur. I started questioning everything. And then I found, wow, I'm losing confidence here. If I were going to become a good entrepreneur, a great entrepreneur, I cannot be down like this. I cannot be so fearful of rejection. So that's what sparked me on this journey of doing this 100 days of rejection thing. As you mentioned at the intro, I went out for a span of 100 days. I'm like, since I was afraid of this monster, I'm just gonna face that monster head on, and I was gonna look for rejection. I want to see what if I can overcome my fear, if I can desensitize myself from that pain.
So let me just set the stage. So you decided 100 days was the right amount. Why 100 days?
Well, 100 sounds good,
Okay, yeah, it's okay. It
might test, we got 100. We're doing pretty good here.
No, well,
so.
we've got that. Okay, and then you're going to go out and you're actually. Are you looking for rejection, or are you? How is that coming about?
Yeah. So it started with me looking for rejection by making some outrageous requests. I will try everything that's possible to get me, I'll ask a stranger something. For example, the first day I asked a stranger, can I borrow $100 from you? Of course I would get a no, right? I just want to hear that no and take it like a man. Sorry, I didn't mean to say them, in a sexist way, but I want to take it like, I want to take it and strengthen myself. And the second day I went to a burger joint. I asked them, hey, can I get a burger refill instead of a drink refill? It's just that started putting some humor in this, and I found actually this is not too bad. I'm taking this nose, and I'm it's not bad.
So you survived the first 2 days. Yeah. You made okay.
Yeah, what didn't kill me did make me a little bit stronger. So, but the problem is on the 3rd day, someone said yes to me. And that changed my whole life, literally. So I went to Krispy Kreme and asked a lady if she can make me donuts that look like Olympic rings, and just interlink 5 donuts together. And the lady said yes. And I didn't surprise that. I mean, I didn't, it really surprised me. So she asked me, how long do you need this? I said in maybe 15 minutes. I don't know. I was just trying to get a no and get out of there. But she was so serious. And 15 minutes later, she gave me a box of donuts that looked like Olympic rings. I was just floored. When you look for rejection, you got this type of acceptance. It took you out of your whole, the whole thought process, the whole trajectory of looking for rejection. Now I'm thinking maybe the world is different than I thought. Maybe if I put myself out there and ask for stuff, there's a possibility that someone says yes to me, no matter how crazy that request is. That changed my whole quest from looking for rejection than just going out and ask and see what happens. So it turned into a curiosity quest and see the world would do to me. But also, what I didn't know is that video would become viral. In the end, there were like 5 million people who viewed that video. And people are also really surprised by the kindness, and someone said yes to my request. But also people are starting getting interested in, what is this guy doing? Why is he looking to get
let me
rejected?
just stop you. I'm going to flash up on the screen. I can't play it here the way we have it set up, but you can Google Krispy Kreme, Jay's name, and I've got it there for you, and we'll put a show link. I encourage everybody to look at this. And I mean, at this time, and let me just look at the views. I think it's over 5 million. And the reason why it's I can see the emotional connection on both sides.
Yeah.
And we were blown away when you shared that. And, people, some people just won't reject you. And this is a super lady.
Yeah, she is. And when I asked her, she didn't think it was that big of a deal. She was thinking, she thanked her manager, she thanked her company. She's so gracious. She's like, it's Krispy Kreme empowered me to be nice to customers, and I want to be nice. I want to bend over backward for all the requests coming from my customers. But it's my manager who enabled me. It's my company who empowered me. So she's very, very gracious. And but the thing is, she's the one who said yes to me, and that's what made everything so different in this request.
No, and it's, so I mean, okay, we got 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's, this is one of the things, I'm not a big Woody Allen fan, but Woody Allen says 80% of life is just showing up. And, you did a little bit better, quicker. And so what happened after that, though? Because you committed to this 100 days. A lot of us would have just stopped. We got some good donuts. I'm out of here now. But
right.
you kept going.
Yeah, so a little bit of background. I did this as a video blog, and I recorded. I used a hidden iPhone. No one knew I was recording. I was using my iPhone to record this. It just caught fire. I got so many people responding to me, telling me, how this is awesome. How they also have this fear of rejection. So it became a community of people, of me being the center who's doing this. So almost like I'm conquering fear for not just me, but a lot of other people. So yeah, I kept going, and I finished 100 days. But in the meantime, I was started to get people inviting me to give talks at different conferences or companies. I was on TVs. I was in magazines. So all these things just happened. It's like a flash fame, right? Flash fame happens almost on a daily basis. Someone got on news and stuff. But what's making this interesting for me is I saw there's a big motivation. There's a big insight behind this big flash fame. I'm not the only one who's afraid of rejection. Actually, everyone is. We can package ourselves. We can hide it. We can we can show that, hey, we're okay. But deep down, we all have this fear. And I found out there's some, evolutionary, theory behind this. that why we all have this fear. It actually makes us survive. But nowadays, that fear holds us back a lot. We rather, because we feel our brain processes that the rejection as if it was some physical attack on us. So that's why we really dislike rejection. And so to a point that we rather be reject ourselves, we'd rather do that than being rejected by someone else. So that actually, limits ourselves from going out there and showing up, as you were quoting Woody Allen, and putting yourself out there and making that request and risking getting rejected. It holds us back a lot. Think about how many opportunities we lost.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say, Jia. The reality is, I'm going to ask everybody, whether you're on the video podcast or the audio or watching us on the blog, is to think how many times you didn't take the risk because of fear of rejection. And I got to tell you, if I were to go down and spend, I'm 59, I could put a really long list together. And when I started deciding that, I wasn't going to let that fear stop me, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you there, because in the financial advisor, we were talking about, boy, if you don't really have that conversation, you might not inspire someone to make smart decisions about their money, and it may have a huge effect. You not taking the risk to start that business or that new division or new product or new campaign. There are going to be some clients or customers that by you not doing that you're going to let down. Now, that fear is just, it makes us immobile. I mean, it can be all encumbersome.
And think about how many times that you encounter some rejection. You got stonewalled by a potential client, right? Or maybe you ask your friend, I have this great idea. Your friend is like, that's stupid. I mean, you ask a couple, you get rejected a couple times. You're just starting me like, okay, my idea must suck, or I shouldn't do this. But actually, I learned personally, and we collectively learned this over and over again, is the really creative ideas will for sure encounter rejection. In fact, we are biased against creativity, even though we say we love creativity. But when it gets really creative, we're like, that's a stupid idea. That's the most stupid ideas I've ever heard. You hear that a lot, but it's the greatest ideas in the world, the best products, they started with something crazy. They started with, being called the stupidest ideas.
I think of, when you're saying that, Jay, the way I look at it is, you think of like Uber right now as a really hot one. Somebody came to me, and I'm at a bar and we're having the conversation, and he's going to come up with a smart app to call sedan. It's like, you got to be kidding me. I don't know how many billions it is now in valuation, but it's huge. And I know the most successful businesses I've started, I heard so many people telling me that will never fly. And it's only through perseverance. And what happens is usually it doesn't catch on right away.
Yeah.
But when it does, I'm thinking of, I forgot the guy's name, Kickstarter campaign. He had the most successful Kickstarter campaign. It was a cooler with a blender on top. And when he first did it, I think his goal, I don't remember the number, so I shouldn't use the example, but let's say it was $100,000 he was trying to raise. He didn't get it. They retooled it. They really communicated better, took some feedback from the market, and now it's the most successful Kickstarter campaign ever. And I'm sure not only did he get a whole bunch of rejection from friends and family, but he got the rejection on the first campaign. It would have been easy to fold the cards, and now he's got the record for the largest one to date. I mean, how do you, it's one thing you and I to talk about this and say, well, just, persevere through it. How do you deal with that? I mean, what are you finding out? How do people, successful entrepreneurs, overcome this?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I've done a lot of research, and I wrote that in my book about why some of the most successful entrepreneurs or people in general are the ones who have this tool, this toolkit of skills they can use to overcome that no. If you don't, you're gonna get swamped you can get overwhelmed by this sense of negativity and fear and pain. So the really successful people use rejection as motivations instead of as some sort of detriment. And they either say, okay, I got rejected. I'm here out to prove that this is, I'm right and the world is wrong. So there's that motivation, factor that, I think the best example we can use is Michael Jordan. He constantly talks about, how he got rejected as a high school, kid, how his coach didn't like him, and he used every single rejection he got as motivation, as a fuel to a fire to achieve greatness. And then there are people who use rejection as they know rejection is just an opinion, right? If we don't think rejection as some sort of truth, either for or against you, no, it's not. Rejection is someone sees you and sees this idea, they make a judgment. They say yes or no to you. And there's nothing more or less than that person's opinion. If you can understand that, you started taking the pain, the emotion away from rejection, then you can start using that as feedback. So the example used was really good. And the Kickstarter person, so he didn't use the rejection as the universe telling him this idea never flies. Look at it, you got rejected by so many people. He used it as a feedback tool and used that to make a better product. I used this example of a couple years ago. There was this movie Lincoln, right? It was really well made. It was by Steven Spielberg, right? So when he made the movie, there's one person he wanted the most as the actor for Lincoln, which is Daniel Day-Lewis. And he reached out to him saying, hey, I would love to have you. And Daniel Day-Lewis is like, sorry, this is not for me. And he gave him really good reasons why he wouldn't do it. And then he did it. And then this is Steven Spielberg. This is now the upcoming director. It's one of the biggest names in Hollywood history. So he took his advice and rewrote the script, and coming back the second time, then third time trying to persuade Daniel Day-Lewis. And eventually he said yes, and that was a really great movie. It was nominated for Oscars, almost won it, didn't win. But if Steven Spielberg can use rejection as a feedback, as a learning tool to improve his product, why shouldn't we? Why should we think a rejection is some sort of judgment against us and some sort of final decision against us? So
it's so powerful. I mean, I look at it and I look at my notes as I'm writing down, and the fuel. I mean, so many entrepreneurs have been driven by wanting to prove somebody wrong,
right?
And that one is a big one. But also the opinion feedback. I think early on in my career, I wanted to prove people wrong. But what I really want now is I love the market feedback. I mean, it's just, it makes, I've started some things and doing this or that in the market. I mean, as a matter of fact, almost every business plan I've ever written, the business, a few years later has nothing to do with the business plan because the market gives us feedback, and you can, try to persevere over the market, or you can take those opinions. I mean, I think that's a key word. It's not rejection. It's opinions and test. And particularly in today's world with technology, the ability to test things, do split tests, use data, I mean, it's really inexpensive. So, I mean, we should really embrace, and one of the big parts I liked about your 100 days is you were out testing like crazy rejection.
Yeah, I thought this, I went to business school, and I spent a lot of money, gained a really great education. But I found this throughout this 100 days, every day I would go out and test out the theory that I learned. All right, and does it really work? How does it work for me? I use this as a playground for me to get better, to learn stuff. And I learned so much about how to do negotiation, how to how not to run away after you hear a no, because our tendency is when someone says no to us, our first thing is just go, just get out of there, because it's how painful it could feel. but how can I sustain that conversation after a no? How do I turn that a tense situation into a humorous situation? I learned that so much, and I felt I got, what I learned through 100 days was more about business and human nature than I did at business school or throughout my years in corporate America.
I totally agree. I mean, I've got a bunch of degrees and,
yes, you do.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I look back on them and I've got better education just being an entrepreneur and, out in the marketplace, just letting people really come and I've had some pretty big ups and some pretty big downs, and nobody gets through life really without some scars. I mean, we all get those, and that's part of the deal. And we are going to get rejected, and some of the rejection will feel painful, but we can just think of it as that journey. And it's just when one chapter closes in our life, another one opens. I mean, what I saw so much, I mean, you went ahead and you opened yourself to the world. I mean, not only were you willing to go out and test 100 days of rejection, you wrote a blog about this, and you're telling everybody you made a commitment that you're going to do this. You're sharing the experience. What was the reaction from people? They're reading your blog and the comments. Or did anybody encourage you to stop and stop the pain?
No, they're like, they're living out their fear through me. They're overcoming their own fear. Some people told me is surprising and therapeutic. Just because when you think about the things I'm gonna ask strangers, it's really cringeworthy. Just thinking about it. But when I actually step out there and do it, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
One of my favorite was you had a soccer ball and you knocked on somebody's door and asked if you could play soccer in their backyard, and you had some pictures, and I guess the guy was very gracious and said sure.
Yeah, and I was preparing for the worst. Every time I'm like, okay, as long as you don't shoot me, and I don't think I'm breaking any law here, I'll be very respectful. But if you say get out of here and cuss at me, I'm okay. I was ready for that. But that never happened. No one got really unpleasant even. There's a couple moments here and there, but most people, when they give rejections, they would say, no, thank you, and things like that. And this person was like, sure. So he invited me to his backyard and to play soccer. And I don't know who was more confused. Was he more confused about me knocking on doors, or I was more confused about he would let me do it? Yeah. I thought I would never let a stranger into my house and do this. Why would you let me? So I asked him, and his answer was, your request is so off the wall. How can I say no? Yeah. And that was like a light bulb going on, and because I'm like, wow, there's incentive for him to say yes, because curiosity played a big role in his decision of making a yes or no. So there are a lot of levers I can pull and to actually making me more likely to get a yes than a no.
Yeah, I mean, that ability to influence and just really motivate people to action, I mean, it's so powerful. And no, I just love that. And let me go to the next segment. This is the book of the day, and I'm not going to let you off easy and recommend another book. I want you to recommend yours. I know it's not out at the time of the recording, but let me go, and I'm going to pull it up here because I just pre-ordered it, and I wanted to just tell that soccer story. I could go on and on. I still remember, it was a few months ago that you gave the speech, and I can still remember so many of the stories. So I want to reread the book just for all these great stories, but also the lessons that are learned. Tell us what we're going to get in the book.
Yeah, the book is what we're talking about. It's just basically the beginning of the story. There's a lot more. The book is a journey of discovery about how when I went out and what I've discovered, and I've found so much about human nature, and so I learned so much about business and negotiation and psychology, and then I lay them out in the book. And it's a really, really fun read.
Yeah, let me pull it up. I didn't say the name of it for those of you who are not watching the video. If you're on the audio podcast, it's Rejection Proof: How I Beat Fear and Became Invincible Through 100 Days of Rejection. And I definitely think you are now invincible.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to be beat by fear anymore, and I'm not afraid to ask anything from anyone.
Yeah, I mean, we had a little bit of conversation ahead of time, and we were brainstorming on, how to get the book out and so on. And it'd be just so easy not to have that conversation. And I think there'll be a number of action items that will come out of it that will be very valuable. And this is, we get in our own mind, how painful these things will be if we, oh, I'm not going to ask. I don't want to, bother someone, or geez, I might get rejected. And
Yeah.
And boy, what missed opportunities.
I know, like when you're asking, in any interaction, right? We are taught to not to go overboard, right? Not to be out of line. I shouldn't ask that. I don't know. We're not buddies yet. We constantly tell that story to ourselves, right? So, but what I'm telling people is we really go overboard a lot of times. What we need to do is to collaborate with people around us, try to make things happen. It can bring value to both parties. People love to help, and so yeah, it will be a lost opportunity had I not asked you or collaborated with you and think about these ideas about how to get the word.
No, it's just so powerful. Let me go with one of your the next segment.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the application of the day. And you told me earlier you got a simple application you want to share. So what is it?
It's the default application on your iPhone. It's the camera, and you record. Like, the reason I love the camera is I record a lot of things that are happening in my life. And this 100 Days of Rejection was the fact that I was actually really bold to record these events. I could have just have written them in a blog, right, and hide behind the pants. But actually, I'm like, I want the world to see what I saw at that moment. So I used the camera and I recorded these videos and put them on YouTube. That's why I got this shirt. This is a YouTube shirt player, and I put it on and share with the world. And I was pretty scared because I'm like, what if no one cares? What if I get a lot of negative comments? But you have to. I fought over that fear and then put it out there, and that changed everything for me and for a lot of other people as well.
The world opened up to you.
Yes, it did.
It did very much. Let me go to the next segment, which is resources, and I'm going to go to your website. Which I love the name, Fearbuster.
Yeah.
What are they going to find here?
Well, the thing is, you're going to find there's a link called 100 Days of Rejection. That's where you would go and go through each one of these videos, video blogs. I write about what I learned and what's the takeaway from each one of these. So you can learn a lot about, negotiation and business and just life in general with this. I try to tackle different areas.
Well, I'm just flipping through them, and I love the police car one, sitting in the police car too.
Yeah, and I didn't sit in the back, I sit in the front, the driver's seat.
Well, asking the police officer if you could do it, and I'm just, and I think as you were sharing the stories and showing the pictures to my group, they were just blown away with one asking and another doing it, and just how that changed your life. And they were all inspired how much their lives could be changed too, and even more importantly, how many of their clients' lives they could help inspire.
Right, absolutely. I mean, it's the same principle. It's the same principle. If I didn't ask that police officer, I would not know he could say yes to me. If you don't, and at the back of my mind, there's part of me saying, "Oh my gosh, what if he's so mad he arrests me?" There's a little bit of fear there as well. That sounds silly if we don't say it out loud, but it's that type of fear.
But all of us have that same fear.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to say it out. Why shouldn't I ask? If I'm respectful to a police officer, right? If I make that request and with a smile and give a good reason, why not? Maybe he has a reason to say no, but why would that thing turn so bad that we automatically associate our request to, right? So, and it's the same thing with all kind of business and all kind of life events, that we just have to ask, and ask nicely, but also ask with power and confidence that, that it actually more than likely that someone wants to help. Someone will want to say yes.
I always call it quiet confidence. When you have that quiet confidence that you're going to add value, kind of the law of reciprocity. I want to just pull up, I want to point out, obviously, there's a speaking section, just a great speaker. Again, the book, online course, and then you can subscribe to the blog. And just some super insights for you and your team. So let me go to the last segment here. And this is key takeaways. And I want to just share. I'm looking at all my notes, and I mean, you're almost making me love rejection. And that market feedback. But I'm going to go number one is that feedback. I mean, if you don't put it out there, you don't get that feedback. I mean, one of the things that's been so great on technology right now used to be in our group, particularly on different communication campaigns and so on, we would debate how to do this or not. Well, now you can do the sample and just put out a whole bunch of small tests and really measure it, and we do that always, and there's no focus, no problem with doing that. I mean, we get feedback from the marketplace. So number one is really stop fearing rejection so that you get the feedback from the market. The more conversations you enter, the more opportunities that are going to present themselves. Second is, it's really how you started entrepreneurship. You talked about focus, and I'm going to call it deliberate mass action. When we do all the research on entrepreneurs, one of the things that we see is those who can focus and take deliberate massive action. And the reason they're taking massive action is not everything's going to work. They're going to get rejected along the way, but they move through that. They take that feedback, do some fine tuning, and take off. And the last thing I want to do is just say open yourself to the world. I mean, if you don't get out there, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, John, you and I are on this podcast. Somebody might not like you. They may not like me. They may have turned off a long time ago. But by getting out there, what we're able to do is build this mastermind group. We never know what's going to happen from the conversations we have. And it's very likely that we're going to make a huge difference in somebody's life by doing this. And this is why you and I are both here.
And I totally agree. And I totally agree with the idea of you have to go out and go all out on something. We have so many ideas, we have them dwelling in our mind, right? We rationalize it. We tell ourselves why it will work. We got excited, but later on we're like, oh, okay, maybe it's not a good idea. We'll just stop it, right? Make massive action and put yourself out there. Put it out there. Let the world tell you, and let the rejections and let acceptance tell you what people think, what you can improve on. That's the only way you can make forward. It's not letting it stay in your mind and rust, or maybe there's a better time someday it will be more mature. No, just put it out there. It's mature right now. It will never be more mature than it is right now if you have an idea. Just and make it. I just watched the movie Interstellar, last weekend. I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone.
I haven't watched it yet, so don't
yeah,
do
it's a good movie. It's a great movie. But one quote, I can say a quote without spoiling the movie. It talks about going out with a rage. The reason is mankind moves forward, make progress when they actually take deliberate actions, going way beyond their comfort zone and going out with a rage, with a goal, instead of staying in the comfort zone and hope something would happen or try to make progress when they're comfortable. When you're making progress, you're never comfortable. You have to be uncomfortable.
And for those people who actually go ahead and stay in their comfort zone, what happens is it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. They start living smaller lives. So, let's go out there, make a difference, take advantage of the fear of rejection and deliberate action, focus. Your clients, your future clients, Your future partners are all counting on you. Don't let them down. Wish you the best of success.
Exceptional, remarkable breakthroughs. AESNation.com.